All right, diving in today, getting deep with Mel Robbins's The Let Them Theory.
Oh yeah, this one's good. I know you were excited about this one.
Yeah, you flagged it, and I was like, this sounds right up our alley.
Absolutely.
And it is. It really is. So we're going to unpack how this whole let them, let me thing can honestly revolutionize how we look at control. You know, that constant urge to control everything and everyone around us, and how maybe, just maybe, we can shift that energy back to ourselves.
Back to ourselves. Such a crucial point.
Where it belongs, right? We've got all the juicy bits from Robbins' book right here, ready to go. We're talking personal growth, relationships, those sticky situations we all find ourselves in, and hopefully some peace of mind along the way.
Fingers crossed for that peace of mind. Always helpful.
Right. So our big mission for this deep dive is to break this theory down, make it really resonate, something you can actually walk away with.
Absolutely. Make it applicable.
Exactly.
All right, so where should we begin? Robbins lays out this core idea, and it's surprisingly simple, but so powerful.
Yeah.
She's famous for the 5-second rule in that, right? That's
Yeah.
all about taking action. But that's where we're focusing today. It's like drawing a line in the sand, recognizing that you can't control what other people choose to do or think or say.
Yeah.
Trying to force it, well, that's just a recipe for frustration, feeling powerless, like you're hitting your head against a wall.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Right.
Yeah, well-
We've all been there. So the antidote, the alternative, is this. Let them be.
Okay.
Let them do their thing. And instead of all that wasted energy, you focus on let me.
Yeah.
Your own thoughts, your feelings, and this is key, your actions.
Taking control of what you can control.
Precisely. So for you, what pops into your mind when you hear this whole idea of just letting go of that need to control others? What's your initial reaction?
Okay, so something that really struck me right off the bat, Robbins talks about how she almost didn't share the 5-second rule at all,
Oh, wow.
even after it had, totally changed her life.
That's fascinating.
Because she felt like she didn't fully get why it worked, And she even questioned if she was, qualified to give advice.
Oh, yeah, imposter syndrome.
Right. But here's the thing, and this part especially clicked for me. Knowing you, always wanting to learn, always wanting to optimize your knowledge, it speaks to that feeling we all get sometimes. Are we ever really ready? Or that sense of being overwhelmed when you're learning something new, which I know you've mentioned feeling before. So for you, what resonates most with Robin's story about that initial hesitation?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. That imposter syndrome thing, even when you've got the results, it's so common, especially for people who are driven.
Yeah.
And if we think about it through the let them lens, it's almost like a little side lesson. We can get so caught up worrying about what others think, about our knowledge, about being ready. But the heart of this theory, it suggests, hey, maybe let's chill out on that external judgment.
Right.
Focus on what we've learned, the value we've gained for ourselves.
Right. Internalize it?
Exactly. Shift that quotient from what will they think to what do I know now?
Ooh, I like that shift.
Yeah, it's subtle but powerful.
So Robbins gives this great example about let them in action.
Okay, read it on me.
The prom story. Remember that?
Oh, yes, the prom story. Classic parental anxieties.
Right. Her son's prom. She's all wound up about dinner reservations, the corsage, the whole 9 yards.
I can just imagine wanting everything to be perfect for your kid.
Right. This picture perfect prom night.
Sure.
But, and this is where it gets good, they end up without a reservation, caught in the rain, and her son doesn't even want to wear the corsage she picked out.
Oh, no. The carefully chosen corsage.
I know, right? She's stressed, she's trying to fix it all, but then she steps back.
The let them moment.
Exactly. She lets them, her son and his friends, figure it out.
What happens?
They find a taco place, get a little wet, and have a blast.
See? Sometimes the best laid plans.
Totally. And for
Yeah.
her, the takeaway was huge. Trying to control everything, especially stuff you can't control, it's exhausting.
Makes total sense. You spend so much energy on things you can't change.
Exactly. So thinking about a time you tried to orchestrate something for someone else, how did that feel? What was the energy like for you?
So, moving beyond prom night, how do we apply this let them idea in everyday life? The book dives into this, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it all comes back to fear.
Fear.
Yeah, that deep down fear that things will go wrong, fear of not being accepted, all that.
Ah, yeah, see.
And the ironic thing is, Trying to micromanage everyone actually makes our anxiety worse.
It's like pouring gasoline on the fire.
Right, exactly. The more we try to control, the more anxious we become.
It's a vicious cycle.
So let them becomes our escape route.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Instead of getting stuck on the external stuff, the things we can't change, like imagine someone coughing nonstop next to you on the train.
Ugh, I hate that.
Or you're stuck in a super slow line at the store.
The worst.
We shift our focus to our reaction.
So her reaction.
Yeah, how we're feeling inside.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
Because, and Robbins makes this point with Dr. Aditi's research, stress triggers this survival mode in our brains.
Survival mode.
Yeah, like we're back in the caveman days, all amped up.
Makes sense.
And when we're in that state, forget rational thought, forget patience.
Everything goes out the window.
Exactly. So for you, when you hit that wall of frustration with something you can't control, what does that feel like in your body? What's that physical sensation?
So in those moments, let me becomes about managing that stress response.
Exactly. Calming the storm inside.
Okay, how do we do that?
Well, Robbins even talks about something as simple as deep breathing.
Deep breathing, huh?
Yep, to reset that system, hit the vagus nerve and tell your brain to chill out.
It's like a little mental reset button.
Right, like the 4-7-8 technique.
That's the one where you breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and exhale for 8.
That's the one. Quick, easy, and it actually works.
I'm putting that in my mental toolbox for later.
Good, it's a lifesaver. Now let's switch gears to work.
Work, oh boy. Always a fun topic.
I know, right? But the book tackles a common work dilemma, that feeling of being passed over for a promotion.
You're doing the work, going above and beyond, but that recognition never comes.
Exactly. So let them, in this case, means letting them continue with their actions, or lack thereof.
Oof, that's a tough pill to swallow.
Right. It's hard to just sit back when you feel like you've earned it.
Absolutely. You want to speak up, make your case, prove your worth.
But Lemmy flips the script. It's about taking control of your own career path.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Robbins says, and I love this quote, "You are never stuck."
Powerful words.
Right. That feeling of being trapped, it's often a story we tell ourselves.
A self-imposed limitation.
Exactly. So instead of waiting for that promotion, that external validation,
We take action.
exactly. Update your resume, network, put yourself out there.
That puts you back in the driver's seat.
Right. So what's one proactive career step you could take this week, regardless of where you are right now?
That's a good question. Always room for growth.
Always. And it's about channeling that energy, right? Instead of getting frustrated by the system, you use that energy to explore better options.
Find a place where your skills are actually valued.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, our power comes from our actions, our choices.
We can't control when others will recognize us, but we can control whether we stay in a situation that doesn't serve us.
So moving on to the social arena, the book talks about this anxiety we get about what others think of us.
Oh, social anxiety. Everyone's favorite.
Every post, every interaction, it's like we're under a microscope.
Yeah, that feeling of constantly being judged.
And Robbins' advice here is so liberating. Let them think whatever they want,
Just let them think.
because you can't control their thoughts anyway.
It's true, but easier said than done, right?
Oh, for sure. And she even admits that it took her 2 years to start posting about her business on social media.
2 years. From Mel Robbins.
I know, right? Fear of judgment, it gets everyone.
Wow. What was
I
she
don't
so worried about?
She talks about obsessing over posts, monitoring likes and comments, even deleting stuff if it didn't get the reaction she wanted.
I feel seen.
Right. It's so relatable. So for you, where have you felt that hesitation because of worrying about what others might think?
Yeah, that fear can be paralyzing.
Totally. And it just drains our energy, trying to control something we can't.
So let them think what they want and focus on what we want to put out there.
Exactly. Be authentic, pursue your goals, and don't constantly look over your shoulder for approval.
Easier said than done, but I get it.
Oh, for sure. But the book also talks about finding that balance, between considering others and honoring your own needs.
Okay, so it's not about being completely inconsiderate.
Not at all. It's about making choices that feel right for you, that make you proud.
So, not a doormat, but not a bulldozer either.
Exactly. Somewhere in between where you're considerate but also prioritize your own well-being, your values.
Got it. That makes sense.
Okay, now let's talk family.
Uh-oh. Family dynamics. Buckle up.
Because, as you know, family can be a breeding ground for strong opinions.
Understatement of the year.
And the let them theory, it's a game changer here, especially for blended families.
Blended families, that's a whole other level of complexity.
Oh, absolutely. And the book highlights something really important. Letting stepchildren grieve.
grieve.
Yeah, grieve the loss of their original family structure. Let them process those emotions, even if they're negative towards the new setup, without forcing them to accept it instantly.
That makes sense.
Mm.
Trying to force a happy blended family right away could backfire.
Totally. And for step-parents, the advice is to let them see you as a potential threat.
A threat. That sounds harsh.
It's honest though, right? You're a new person in their world. There might be feelings of competition for attention.
Yeah, I can see that.
So navigating this takes a lot of empathy, a lot of patience.
For sure.
And the book introduces this great concept, frame of reference.
Frame of reference.
It's about understanding why people, even those we love, have different opinions.
Because they see the world through a different lens.
Exactly. We've all got our own backgrounds, experiences that shape how we view things.
So instead of judging right away, we try to see things from their perspective.
Exactly. Robbins talks about her own mom who wasn't thrilled about her marrying someone from the East Coast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but when she thought about it, she realized her mom was just scared of her daughter moving far away.
Fear of loss. That's understandable.
Right. It wasn't about disapproving of the husband, it was about her own fears.
So stepping into someone else's shoes can create understanding, even if we don't agree.
Exactly. It's about connection, empathy over power struggles.
I like that shift.
Now, let's talk about another tricky one. Dealing with emotional immaturity in adults.
Oh, that's a good one. We've all encountered that.
The silent treatment, stonewalling, all that fun stuff.
The worst.
And the book is clear. This is their issue, not yours to fix.
Right, recognizing those boundaries.
Exactly. You don't need to take it personally or feel responsible for solving their emotional puzzle.
So let them stew in their immaturity.
In a way, yes, and let me protect myself from getting dragged into that negativity.
So it's about self-preservation.
Absolutely. Because remember, you can't control their reactions, just like they can't always control their initial emotions.
True. Sometimes those emotions just hit you.
And the book even talks about how emotions can be contagious, influenced by things like hunger, tiredness, stress.
Interesting. So our emotional state isn't always, like, completely rational.
Right. So understanding that can help us respond with more awareness, less reactivity.
It's like taking a pause before reacting.
Exactly. Recognizing that those initial responses are often automatic, both in ourselves and others, and then choosing how to engage.
That pause can make all the difference.
Okay, now we're getting into some really deep waters.
Yeah.
Making tough decisions that might hurt others.
Oh, those are the hardest.
Like the example in the book, someone considering calling off their wedding.
Wow, that's heavy.
Right, and it highlights how we often prioritize others' feelings over our own well-being.
It's easier to avoid confrontation, even if it means staying in a situation that's wrong for us.
And Robbins' advice is to let them handle their own emotional response.
So essentially, let go of the need to protect them from pain.
Exactly, because you can't control how they feel, and ultimately you're not responsible for managing their emotions.
But that doesn't mean we don't care.
Of course not. But it means trusting that they have the strength to navigate their own feelings, even if it's tough in the moment.
It's about respecting their resilience.
And prioritizing your own truth, your own happiness.
It's a tough but necessary perspective.
Okay, now let's tackle comparison, that ever-present beast.
Oh, the comparison game. Everyone's playing.
And the book acknowledges its human nature.
We all do it.
But it makes a key distinction between what it calls torturous comparison.
Torturous comparison.
Yeah, when we fixate on things we can't change about ourselves, like our past, our talents.
The stuff that makes us feel inadequate.
Exactly, and dwelling on that just leads to negativity, feeling helpless.
So what's the antidote?
Let them have those things.
Just let it go.
Let go of the need to have what they have, to be who they are.
Acceptance.
But here's the cool part. We can actually use comparison as a teacher.
A teacher. How so?
By seeing what others have achieved, we can expand our own sense of possibility.
Okay, that makes sense.
So the advice shifts to let me use their successes as inspiration, as proof that what we want is achievable.
So instead of jealousy, we find motivation.
Exactly, reframing their wins as a potential roadmap for ourselves.
I like that, turning envy into fuel.
Right. So moving into chapter 11, the book talks about adult friendships.
Oh, friendship. Always a roller coaster.
And this feeling a lot of us get, like, where did all my friends go?
It's like everyone disappeared.
The book calls it the great scattering, and it happens as we get older, our lives diverge.
We go to different cities, start families, careers take off.
And friendship shifts from that group dynamic to something that needs more individual effort.
It's not as effortless as it used to be.
And if we're not aware of that shift, It can lead to loneliness, feeling isolated.
Absolutely. You feel like you're the only one losing touch.
So the book breaks down the factors: marriage, kids, moving, career changes.
Life just gets in the way.
It does. And it also highlights 3 key elements for friendship: proximity, timing, shared energy.
Proximity, timing, energy.
It's easier to stay close to people you see often who are in similar life stages and where the energy you put into the friendship is reciprocated.
Makes sense. When those things shift, the friendship dynamic changes too.
So let them, in this context, means accepting that friendships will evolve, some will fade, some will intensify.
Letting go of the expectation that things will always stay the same.
Exactly. And it's not personal if someone can't always text back right away or make plans.
Right, life happens.
And let me becomes about actively nurturing the friendships that matter most right now.
Putting in the effort to stay connected.
Exactly. And the book even gives advice on building new friendships.
Okay, because starting from scratch can be daunting.
It can be. And it's all about initiate contact, introduce yourself, suggest activities.
Be the one who reaches out.
Exactly. Robbins shares her experience of moving to a new town in her 50s and feeling lonely.
That's brave of her to admit.
It is. And it shows that even if you've had amazing friends in the past, change can bring loneliness.
So what's the key takeaway?
Be proactive. Those go-first moments, they're crucial.
Like striking up a conversation, inviting someone for a walk.
Exactly. Push past the awkwardness, put yourself out there.
Trust that the effort will be reciprocated.
And the more people you meet, the more you put yourself in new social situations, the higher the chances of finding those deep connections.
So keep putting yourself out there.
And finally, in terms of friendship, the book stresses flexibility, understanding.
Because friendships aren't static.
Right. Some will naturally fade, and clinging too tightly can prevent new ones from forming.
So let them go if they need to.
Exactly. And let me be understanding. Maintain connections without expectations. Reach out because I care, and believe that amazing new friendships are still out there.
That's a beautiful way to look at it.
Okay, now for a tricky one. Trying to motivate others to change.
Oh boy, here we go.
The book is straight up. Pressuring someone to change rarely works.
We've all tried it, and it usually backfires.
It does. In fact, it often makes them more resistant.
They dig their heels in deeper.
Exactly. Because deep down, lasting change has to come from within.
They have to want it for themselves.
And often, the most loving approach is to let them be, accept them where they are.
Even if it's frustrating to watch.
It can be. But then the book introduces the concept of influence.
Okay, so we're not completely powerless.
Not at all. We can't force change, but we can inspire it.
I like that. Inspire change.
And that's where Let Me comes in.
Okay, how do we do that?
By modeling the behavior we want to see, asking open-ended questions that encourage self-reflection.
So instead of lecturing, we ask questions.
Exactly. And the book talks about the ABC loop here. Apologize if you need to de-escalate the situation. Ask those open-ended questions, back off from pushing your agenda, and then celebrate any progress you see.
So instead of nagging someone to eat healthier, you focus on your own healthy habits. Let them see the positive effects.
Exactly. And instead of criticizing, you gently ask how they feel about their current situation.
And celebrating even small wins can make a big difference.
Huge. It reinforces positive associations with the desired change.
So what about situations where someone we care about is really struggling, like addiction or mental health issues?
This is where it gets really tough. The book talks about finding the balance between helping and enabling.
A delicate balance.
And the message is this: you can't want their recovery more than they do.
That's hard to hear, but I get it.
It is, because constantly rescuing them prevents them from hitting rock bottom, from realizing they need to change.
It hinders their own strength, their resilience.
And the book uses this analogy. The more you rescue, the more they sink.
Wow, that's powerful.
It is. So let them might mean allowing them to face the consequences of their actions, even if it's painful to watch.
Stepping back and letting them learn from their mistakes.
And Let Me becomes about providing actual support, listening without judgment, being there for them, not trying to fix everything.
Empowering them to find their own strength.
Exactly. And lastly, the book talks about applying Let Them to dating and relationships.
Well, the minefield of love.
Right, and it starts with recognizing when someone isn't interested and not chasing after them.
So let them go if they're not reciprocating.
Exactly. And shift the focus to let me be choosy, seek a partner who helps me grow, who respects me.
Find someone who brings out the best in you.
And the book distinguishes between commitment and compatibility.
Because you can be committed, but not compatible.
Right. And sometimes, if core values or needs clash, let them might mean accepting that they won't change on those fundamental things.
And knowing when to walk away.
And when relationships end, the book emphasizes no contact, self-care, new beginnings.
Taking time to heal and move on.
Exactly, because ultimately the foundation of all healthy relationships is the one we have with ourselves.
Love yourself first.
Right, let them be who they are, so let me be me.
Embrace your authentic self.
Practice self-compassion, set boundaries, chase your dreams without needing external validation.
Because true fulfillment starts from within.
And the book ends with this beautiful analogy of the sky.
Okay, I love a good analogy.
You can't control the weather, the clouds, the storms that roll in.
But you can control how you respond to them.
Exactly. So take back your power by focusing on what you can control. Your thoughts, your actions, your choices.
It's about reclaiming responsibility for your inner world.
And recognizing where we might have given our power away by trying to control the uncontrollable.
And then redirecting that energy to our own well-being, our growth, our path forward.
So after this deep dive into the let them theory, what's sticking with you? What resonates the most?
It's a lot to unpack.
It is. Maybe it's the freedom of letting go of that need to control others. Maybe it's realizing we can inspire change through our own actions. Or maybe it's that reminder about the importance of our relationship with ourselves.
So many good takeaways.
And think about those areas in your life where you might be trying to control things you can't.
Where are we wasting energy?
Exactly. How could let them shift your perspective, free up that energy for what truly matters?
That's the key question.
And remember the last time you felt frustrated by someone's actions?
When we were triggered.
What if you had said, let them, and focused on your own response, your own boundaries?
A different approach.
What impact could consistently using this theory have on your relationships, on your peace of mind?
It's a shift in mindset, a practice.
And we encourage you to keep exploring it, see how it unfolds in your life.